Scorpio, there is something happening to you right now that the people around you simply cannot understand. They look at you and see someone who is going through difficulties, someone who is being tested, someone who is facing challenges that seem unfair and excessive. But they don't see what is really happening. They don't understand that you are not being broken. You are being forged. You are not being destroyed. You are being rebuilt into something far more powerful than you were before. God is making you stronger, and this process was not meant to be understood by eyes that have never experienced what you are going through. Look back now. See everything you faced in the last few months. The losses that hurt more than you thought you could bear. The betrayals that came from people you never imagined were capable of hurting you. The moments of loneliness so profound, you wondered if anyone truly cared. The nights you questioned everything, your worth, your purpose, your ability to go on. And yet you're here, still standing, still breathing, still fighting. And that's no coincidence. That's no luck. It's divine design. God is making you stronger through every blow you receive, yet you don't fall. Through every pain you feel, yet you don't completely shut down. Through every disappointment you face, yet you don't completely lose faith. People around you look at your battles and feel pity. But God looks at your battles and sees a warrior being trained for much greater battles and much greater victories to come. Can you sense that there is a greater purpose in all of this? Even when your rational mind can't quite explain what it is. They don't understand what's happening because they were never chosen for the kind of transformation you're going through. They live normal lives with normal challenges, which produce normal growth. But you weren't created for a normal life. You weren't created for small purposes. You weren't created to be ordinary. And extraordinary transformations require extraordinary processes. What seems like cruelty from the universe is actually divine preparation. What seems like unjust punishment is actually specialized training for the unique role that only you can play. Scorpio, let me tell you what's really happening while they watch from afar, not understanding. God is systematically removing everything and everyone that cannot go with you to where you are being taken. Every person who left your life wasn't a loss. It was cleansing. Every situation that crumbled wasn't a failure, it was redirection. Every door that closed wasn't rejection, it was protection. You are being prepared for a level of life where the people and situations of your past simply don't fit. And this preparation is painful because it involves letting go of what was familiar, even when the familiar was keeping you small. People observing you now see you as solitary and think you are alone, but you are not alone. You are in sacred isolation. There is a huge difference. Loneliness is the unchosen absence of connection. Sacred isolation is intentional separation from the universe to refine you away from influences that would contaminate the process. You are being kept away not as punishment, but as protection. God is isolating you because the work being done in you is too delicate to be carried out amidst the noise and opinions of people who do not understand your destiny. For Scorpios, born between October 23rd and November 2nd, this strengthening is related to their ability to remain alone without becoming bitter. God is teaching you that you can be complete without depending on anyone. For those born between November 3rd and 12th, the strength being built is that of starting over from scratch as many times as necessary without losing faith. You are learning unwavering resilience. And for those born between November 13th and 21st, the strengthening is about trusting the unseen when everything visible seems to be crumbling. You are developing faith that transcends circumstances. But all Scorpios share a central lesson at this time. You are learning that your strength does not come from external sources. It doesn't come from how many people support you. It doesn't come from how stable your circumstances are. It doesn't come from how clear the path ahead is. Your strength comes from an inner divine source that cannot be shaken by absolutely anything that happens externally. And discovering that source, that direct connection to something greater, is the greatest gift you could receive. even if the process of discovery is brutal. They don't understand what's happening because they're measuring their lives by the wrong standards. They're looking at their material and relational losses and seeing defeat. But God is looking at their spiritual gains and seeing victory. Are you losing people? Yes, but you're gaining discernment. Are you losing comfortable situations? Yes, but you're gaining the courage to embrace the unknown. Are you losing the old version of yourself? Absolutely. But you're gaining access to the most powerful and authentic version that has always been buried under layers of conformity and fear. The strengthening that is happening within you has layers. The first layer is physical. You are learning to function even when you are exhausted, to keep going even when every cell in your body wants to stop. The second layer is emotional. You are developing the capacity to feel deep pain without being destroyed by it, to process intense emotions without being controlled by them. The third layer is mental. You are expanding your mind to accept possibilities that previously seemed impossible, to question limiting beliefs that kept you stuck. But the fourth layer, the spiritual one, is where the true transformation is happening. You are developing a direct connection with the divine that doesn't depend on intermediaries, on the approval of others, on external confirmation. You are learning to hear God's voice in the silence of your own soul. You are discovering that you have direct access to infinite wisdom, to unconditional love, to the limitless strength that exists beyond the material world. And this discovery changes everything. Scorpio, people don't understand because they're stuck in a victim mentality. They see challenges as bad things that happen to unlucky people. But you're beginning to understand something much deeper. Challenges are gifts in disguise, sent specifically to reveal and develop the greatness that exists within you. God wouldn't give you battles you don't have the inner equipment to win. The simple fact that you're facing what you're facing is proof that you have everything within you to not only survive, but thrive through it. When they look at you now, they see someone weathering storms. But when you look honestly in the mirror, what do you truly see? You see someone being polished. Each storm removes a layer of falsehood, of pretense, of unnecessary protection. Each challenge reveals more of your true essence. You are being peeled back like an onion, layer by layer, until only the pure and powerful core of who you truly are remains. And that core is far stronger than any mask you wore before. The process of divine empowerment is never gentle. It's not meant to be comfortable or easy. Iron sharpens iron. Diamonds are formed under extreme pressure. Gold is refined through fire. And you are being prepared to shine in a way that will blind those who doubted you. But that brilliance can only emerge after everything that is not essential is burned away. That's why the losses, that's why the isolation, that's why the intense pain. Not to destroy you, but to reveal the indestructible that exists within you. God is making you stronger, not just for you, but through you. Because when you emerge from this process, and you will emerge, you will become a beacon for others who are in the midst of their own storms. Your story will give hope to those who have lost hope. Your survival will inspire those who are thinking of giving up. Your transformation will prove that it is possible to rise from your own ashes. But you can only be that beacon after you have crossed the deepest darkness and still found light. They don't understand because they've never had to develop the kind of strength you're developing. They've never been tested to the point of breaking and having to rebuild. They've never lost everything and had to discover that they still had everything that truly mattered within themselves. They've never been forced to choose between giving up completely or discovering reserves of courage they didn't even know they possessed. You are going through a spiritual initiation that few human beings experience, and those who haven't simply lack the context to understand. But here's something important. You don't need them to understand. You don't need to explain your process to anyone. You don't need to justify why you're different, why you're quieter, why you're more selective, why you've established boundaries that didn't exist before. Your job isn't to make them understand your transformation. Your job is to protect that transformation from opinions, judgments, and energies that would try to make you doubt what's happening within you. Scorpio, there is a reason why God specifically chose you for this level of empowerment. You have something within you that most people don't, the ability to go to the darkest depths of human experience and still come back, the ability to symbolically die and be reborn, the ability to be completely destroyed externally and yet remain whole internally. This is not a common skill, it is a rare gift, and this gift needs to be developed through experiences that would test you to your limits. The strengthening you are experiencing has a divine timeline that makes no sense to the human mind. Sometimes it seems to be taking too long, sometimes it seems to be going too fast, but there is perfect wisdom in the rhythm. You are being strengthened at the exact speed that your soul can integrate without breaking. Too fast and you would be crushed. Too slow and you would lose momentum. God knows exactly how much you can bear at each moment and gives you precisely that. No more, no less. They see you struggling and offer superficial advice. Be positive. Forget the past. Just move on. But you know that what you're going through can't be solved with empty motivational phrases. What's happening inside you requires something much deeper. It requires you to feel with your pain instead of running from it. It requires you to process each emotion instead of suppressing it. It requires you to face your darkest shadows instead of pretending they don't exist. Because true strength doesn't come from avoiding the darkness, it comes from consciously walking through it. During this strengthening process, you've probably felt misunderstood, even by people who say they love you. They want you to go back to normal. They want the old version of you that was lighter, more available, easier to deal with. But you can't go back. That version is dead. And trying to resurrect it would be betraying all the work that's being done in you. The new version that's emerging may be more intense, more serious, more cautious, but it's also more authentic, stronger, more aligned with your true purpose. God is making you stronger by removing your need for external approval. Before, you may have cared a lot about what people thought of you. Now you are discovering that the only opinion that truly matters is God's opinion of you. And God sees you as a work in progress. He sees potential where others see problems. He sees strength where others see weakness. He sees purpose where others see chaos. And when you can see yourself through God's eyes, everything changes. Strengthening also occurs in your ability to remain standing when everything around you is crumbling. You're developing an inner stability that doesn't depend on external stability. You're learning to be your own anchor amidst storms. You're discovering that you have within yourself a center of peace that no circumstance can disturb. This doesn't mean you don't feel the storms. It means you are no longer swept away by them. They look at your life and see losses, relationships that ended, opportunities that didn't work out, plans that crumbled. But God looks at your life and sees necessary cleansing, removal of everything that was preventing you from reaching your true potential, closing of doors that led you down paths that weren't yours. You are being redirected, not rejected. You are being realigned with something much greater than anything you lost. Scorpio, one of the most important parts of this strengthening is learning to trust the process even when you don't understand it, even when it seems like nothing makes sense, even when it seems like you're going in the wrong direction, even when it seems like God has forgotten you. In these moments of greatest doubt, the deepest faith is forged, because anyone can trust when everything is going well. True faith is trusting when everything seems to be going wrong. People don't understand why they measure success differently. For them, success is accumulation of money, status, relationships, achievements. But you're learning that true success is becoming who you were created to be, regardless of what you accumulate in the process. It's integrity instead of appearance. It's authenticity instead of acceptance. It's inner peace instead of external validation. And that kind of success can't be measured by conventional standards. God is making you stronger, even through what He doesn't give you. Through prayers that seem unanswered, through doors that remain closed even when you knock repeatedly, through the people you desperately want to stay but who keep leaving. Because God sees the future in a way you can't. He sees that what you want now would prevent you from having what you truly need later. He sees that who you want now would distance you from who you were destined to meet later. Strengthening happens when you stop fighting what's happening and start working with it. When you stop asking, why me, and start asking, what for? When you stop being a victim of your circumstances and start being a student of them. Every situation you face is teaching you something essential. Every person who hurts you is showing you something important about boundaries or discernment. Every failure is revealing something crucial about your true path. They don't understand because they're still operating from the ego. They want comfort, security, predictability, but you are being moved beyond the ego to a place of surrender to the divine. You are learning that true security doesn't come from controlling your circumstances. It comes from trusting God, regardless of the circumstances. That true comfort doesn't come from having everything figured out. It comes from knowing that you will be sustained through whatever comes. Throughout this process, you may have felt abandoned by God at times. In the darkest moments, you may have cried out for help and felt only silence. But here's the truth. God never abandoned you. God was closer in those moments than ever before. The silence wasn't absence. It was space for you to discover your own strength. What seemed like abandonment was actually God stepping back enough for you to realize you can stand on your own. Scorpio, you are being strengthened to carry greater responsibilities, to impact more lives, to fulfill a purpose that goes far beyond what you currently understand. And this kind of destiny requires a specific type of person. Someone who has been tested and not broken. Someone who has been wounded and not become cruel. Someone who has lost everything and not lost faith. Someone who has gone through hell and emerged not only intact but transformed into something more beautiful. The people around you don't understand because they've never been called to something so big. And that's okay. You don't need them to understand. You just need to keep trusting the process, even when it's painful. Keep getting stronger, even when it's difficult. Keep believing, even when it seems impossible. Because on the other side of this process, there's a version of you that will look back and thank God for every break that led to your rebuilding. Share in the comments, I am being strengthened. You don't need to explain how or why, just state this truth. This affirmation will strengthen your own faith and create a chain of support with other Scorpios who are also in their divine processes of strengthening. Subscribe to the channel now because I will continue guiding you through this transformation process. I will help you interpret the signs, maintain faith when all seems lost, and recognize God's work even when it comes disguised as difficulty. Turn on notifications so you don't miss any messages that will support you while you are being forged into something extraordinary. This is your moment of radical trust, Scorpio. The moment where you choose to believe that you are being strengthened even when it seems like you are being destroyed, that you are being prepared even when it seems like you are being punished, that you are being loved even when you feel pain. God is making you stronger, and they may not understand it now. But when you emerge on the other side of this transformation, shining, powerful, unbreakable, all will witness the miracle that happens when someone trusts God through the process of being completely rebuilt.